Danny's mother hugged me at his funeral. She held me tight and whispered, "Thank you for being such a good friend to my boy." I couldn't breathe. I couldn't speak, because I knew the truth. I was driving that car. I lost control. I killed her son, and I let her believe it was Danny's fault for 40 years. Last month she died. She died believing her son caused his own death. She died never knowing the truth, and I let it happen. I'm 69 years old. My name is William, and I am a coward. I've been a coward for 4 decades. I've lied to everyone I love. I've lied to Danny's family. I've lied to my own wife. I've even lied to myself. But today I'm going to tell the truth because I'm running out of time and I can't take this secret to my grave. Before I tell you what I did, I need you to understand who Danny was, because he wasn't just my best friend. He was the best person I ever knew. I met Danny on the first day of 3rd grade. He was the new kid, sitting alone at lunch. I walked over and shared my sandwich with him. From that moment on, we were inseparable. We did everything together: school, sports, summers, everything. Danny was the kind of friend who would give you the shirt off his back. When my father lost his job and we couldn't afford Christmas presents, Danny secretly bought me a baseball glove with his paper route money. When I got into trouble at school, Danny was the one who stood up for me. When my mother was sick, Danny sat with me in the hospital waiting room for 12 hours. He was loyal, he was kind, he was good, everything I'm not. We grew up together, graduated high school together, got jobs at the same factory. We even dated sisters for a while, talking about having a double wedding someday. Danny was going to be my best man. I was going to be his. That's who Danny was, and I'm the one who took him from this world. August 17th, 1982. I remember every detail like it was yesterday. Danny and I had been at a bar celebrating. He had just gotten engaged to Sarah, the love of his life. We had a few beers, maybe more than a few. We were young and stupid and invincible. When it was time to leave, Danny wanted to call a cab. He said we'd had too much to drink, but I said no. I said I was fine. I grabbed the keys from his hand and got behind the wheel. Danny didn't want me to drive. He argued with me in the parking lot. He said, Will, come on, let me drive. You've had too much. But I was stubborn. I was proud. I told him I'd been driving since I was 16, and I knew when I was too drunk to drive. I wasn't. I was wrong. He got in the passenger seat. He didn't put on his seatbelt. That was the last mistake either of us would make that night. I remember the road was dark, a country highway with no streetlights. I remember thinking I should slow down, and then I remember the curve. I took it too fast. The car started to slide. I tried to correct, but I overcorrected. We went off the road and hit a tree on the passenger side, Danny's side. The sound of that impact still wakes me up at night. Metal crushing, glass shattering, and then nothing. Complete silence. When I opened my eyes, I was bleeding from my forehead, but I could move. I looked over at Danny. The passenger side of the car was wrapped around the tree. Danny was, I knew immediately. His eyes were open, but he wasn't there anymore. My best friend in the world, the person I loved like a brother, was gone. I screamed his name. I shook him. I begged him to wake up, but he was already gone. And it was my fault. I killed him. I killed Danny. The police arrived about 20 minutes later. I was sitting on the ground next to the car, holding Danny's hand through the broken window. I was in shock. I was crying. And I was already planning the lie that would define the rest of my life. The officer asked me what happened, and I said 5 words that I can never take back. He was driving, not me. Why did I lie? I've asked myself that question every day for 40 years. Fear, cowardice, self-preservation. I knew I had been drinking. I knew I would go to prison. I knew my life would be over, and Danny was already dead. He couldn't defend himself. He couldn't tell them the truth, so I used him. I used my best friend's death to save myself. I let him take the blame for something I did. The police believed me. Why wouldn't they? I was the grieving friend, covered in blood, crying by the wreckage. They didn't test my blood alcohol level. They didn't question my story. They just wrote it down. Driver lost control of vehicle. Driver deceased. Danny's funeral was the worst day of my life. Worse than the accident. Because at the accident, I was in shock. At the funeral, I was fully aware of what I had done. The church was packed. Everyone loved Danny. His parents sat in the front row, destroyed. His fiancée Sarah couldn't stop crying, and I sat there in a suit with a bandage on my head, accepting condolences for surviving. After the service, Danny's mother found me. Her name was Margaret. She was a small woman with kind eyes, and those eyes were red from crying. She walked up to me, put her arms around me, and held me tight. And she said, "Thank you, William. Thank you for being such a good friend to my boy. He loved you like a brother." I wanted to die. I wanted to tell her everything. I wanted to fall on my knees and beg for forgiveness, but I didn't. I hugged her back and I said, I loved him too. That was the moment I truly became a monster. I've lived with this secret for 40 years. Every single day I wake up knowing what I did. Every single night I go to sleep with Danny's face in my mind. I got married, had kids, built a career, retired. I lived a full life, a life Danny never got to have. He was 27 when he died. He never got to marry Sarah. He never got to have children. He never got to grow old. And all of that happiness, all of those moments, they're all built on a lie. Every time my wife tells me she loves me, I think, would she love me if she knew? Every time my children call me a good man, I think, they don't know the truth. I've been two people for 40 years. The person everyone sees, and the person who killed Danny and let him take the blame. Danny's mother, Margaret, never stopped loving me. She treated me like a second son. Every Christmas, she sent me a card. Every year on my birthday, she called. She said I was the last connection to her Danny, the only one who really knew him. I visited her when I could. We would sit in her living room and she would show me old photos of Danny. She would tell stories about him as a child, and she would always say the same thing. I just wish he hadn't been driving that night. I told him so many times not to drink and drive. I had so many chances to tell her the truth. So many moments when I could have freed both of us from this lie. But I never did. I told myself it would hurt her too much. I told myself it was kinder to let her believe Danny made a mistake than to know he was killed by his best friend. But that was another lie. I didn't stay quiet to protect her. I stayed quiet to protect myself. Last month, Margaret passed away. She was 94 years old. She died peacefully in her sleep, surrounded by family, and she died believing that her son was responsible for his own death. I went to her funeral. I stood at her grave and I cried, not just for her, for Danny, for the truth she never knew, for the lie I never had the courage to correct. There's one more person I need to tell you about. Sarah, Danny's fiancée, the woman who was supposed to marry him that October. After Danny died, Sarah was destroyed. They had been together since high school. She had her whole future planned with him. And suddenly, he was gone. Sarah blamed Danny for years. She was angry at him for drinking and driving. She felt abandoned, betrayed. She told me once that she couldn't forgive him for taking himself away from her. I sat there and listened, and I said nothing. I let her hate a dead man for something I did. Sarah eventually moved on. She married someone else, had kids, built a life. But I know a part of her still carries that anger at Danny. That anger belongs to me. It always did. You might be wondering why I'm telling this story now. After 40 years of silence, why speak up? The answer is simple. I'm dying. The doctors found cancer 6 months ago. They say I have less than a year. For 40 years, I told myself I would take this secret to my grave. But now that the grave is coming, I realize I can't. I can't die with this lie still living inside me. I can't face whatever comes next, knowing I never told the truth. Margaret is gone. Danny is gone. Soon I'll be gone too. But the truth deserves to live. Danny deserves to have his name cleared. Even if no one else ever knows, I need to say it out loud. Danny didn't kill himself. I killed him. If Danny's family ever sees this, I want them to know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the lie. I'm sorry for the 40 years of deception. I'm sorry for letting Danny take the blame for something I did. I'm sorry for not being brave enough to tell the truth when it mattered. Danny was innocent. He wasn't driving. He didn't want to get in that car. He tried to stop me, and I wouldn't listen. If I had listened to him, he would be alive today. He would have married Sarah. He would have had children and grandchildren. He would have grown old surrounded by people who loved him. Instead, he's been in the ground for 40 years, and I've been walking around free, living the life he should have had. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. What I did was unforgivable. I killed my best friend and then I desecrated his memory with lies. But if you're watching this, I want you to learn something from my story. The truth matters. No matter how painful, no matter how scary, the truth matters. I spent 40 years living a lie, and it didn't save me. It just made me a prisoner to my own cowardice. If you're carrying a secret that's eating you alive, tell someone. Don't wait until you're dying. Don't wait until the people who deserve to know are gone. Tell the truth while it still matters, while it can still make a difference. I'm 69 years old. I have months to live, and the only honest thing I've done in 40 years is make this video. Danny, if somehow you can hear me, I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry I killed you. I'm sorry I blamed you. I'm sorry I lived the life you should have had. I hope wherever you are, you can finally know the truth, and I hope you can forgive me, even though I'll never forgive myself.